Hey, it's Tony with Unlocking Olympus. I want to show you my high-res presets that I've made. I've been using the high-res mode with Olympus cameras since they released it, and I just love it. Being able to get an 80 megapixel image from the sensor shifting, it's great. You get better color, you get less noise, you get an image that can print larger. It's a good thing. However, I've never been happy with it in Lightroom. And when you see the JPEGs, they look great. But when you open the RAW file in Lightroom, it's never looked the same to me. So I have spent hours developing presets that fix this. So here we have two files. I have a JPEG and a RAW file. Just a high-res shot that was done with the EM1 Mark III, tripod mode, just unstyled dining room scene, nothing special here. Just for example though. So I'm going to select both of these. Let's take a look. And when we zoom into 1:1, you can see immediately that the JPEG on the left and the RAW on the right, they look different. Now ignore color differences. This is using the Olympus Natural Profile, and this is the Adobe Color Profile. If we were to put that color profile on this, they would look identical, except for the details. The color would be the same, but the details aren't. And you can see this is nice and crisp. You even see a little bit of noise from the sensor, but on the RAW file, just that crispness, that tightness just doesn't seem to be there. You can see that back in here, especially if you look in these details here. It's just soft. There's nothing wrong with this file. You could use this, you could sharpen it up a little bit, and you can print with it, and it'll look amazing. But I know we can do better. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to open up just the RAW file and get into the Develop module. And here you have my presets that I've made for high-res files. Over here I have three basic starting points. The basic high-res, the basic high-res neutral, and the basic high-res plus. I'm going to go into 100% and let's play around with these. The neutral, if I go back and forth, you can see really makes a difference. That's kind of my base starting point. Each of these three, try them out and see what works best for the subject matter you're shooting. I find sometimes I gravitate more towards one for landscape or architectural shots, other ones for really busy nature scenes, other ones that don't have as much contrast. I choose one of my other presets. It just really varies by subject. I haven't found one or another that I can say definitively, this used for this subject matter and this one used for that subject matter. I found over time there was just three presets that I made that were my starting point. So try each one out and see which one kind of works better for you. So let's have a look at the three of them. Here's the basic one. Here's the neutral one. And here's the plus. The plus and the neutral are similar. I can A/B those. The plus just gives it a little more kick in the details. Now, let me show you something. Let's go up to this area in the shot, and we'll do the high-res plus. You can see these introduce a little bit of noise from the sharpening. All in through here in the white areas, and some of the details you can see it. Once you've applied that preset, if that noise is obvious in the subject matter you're shooting, then select Noise Basic Removal. And you can see just A-Bing. We retain the details, but it just kind of cleans up that graininess that appears. And that looks so much better. You can see here's before, that's where we started. And here's after, just with the preset and the noise removal applied. Again, before, after. Makes a huge difference. I also have another preset for handheld high res, since we can go to a much higher ISO with that. I found sometimes in some scenes I want to do a little more noise reduction to that shot, and that's where I have this preset, the noise reduction, just for handheld high res at 6400 ISO. Now, in addition to the basics, I have 4 more settings worth of sharpening. So one of them is a light sharpening, a medium, a high, and then one that simulates the JPEG file. This is kind of extreme for a lot of situations, but sometimes you want that extra kick. And again, this works just as well with the noise removal preset. Now, here we are at your basic view, and one thing that the high res is fun to play around with is when you are using a fisheye lens. So you have a fisheye, and with 10,000 pixels to the side, we can really crop in and get a usable image. So I've made presets that mirror the Olympus fisheye correction in camera as a RAW file here, because you can't use both the high res mode and the fisheye correction at the same time. So right now this is using the Olympus fisheye, and we have all three modes. One that just corrects the fish, so it's more rectilinear looking. Mode 2, which is cropping in a bit, and mode 3, which crops in a little bit more in terms of what the camera sees. Now, if we were to select this, and we're all the way in, if I go to crop mode, you can see this is not cropped. So if you go to your transform panel here on the right-hand side, this is using scaling. If you use the Y offset, you can do kind of a shift lens effect. And you can see if you go too far, you're running into where the warp is. But what's nice is, say you correct the fisheye, zoom in a bit, shift to get the scene where you want it. That's your view now, and you're still at 10,000 pixels. Unlike cropping, which would have decreased your number of pixels. Working like this, I don't know if I would deliver the file at 10,000 pixels, because we are upscaling the file a bit. There's plenty of room to work with, and it still looks great, but I'd be inclined to bring it down to about 8,000 pixels to the side, and then I'm super, super thrilled with it. Prints great, delivers great, you can do so much with these files. The high-res mode really, really is wonderful. But it just, when you're working with these RAWs in Lightroom, you just need that extra kick. And hopefully that's what these presets can do for you. If you've got any questions about them, or you want to tell me how they've worked in your workflow, feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks so much. Take care.